And what a grand finale it was. Welcome back, and once again, thank you for trusting me with your full spoiler movie reviews. That thing I do, where I watch movies and then I tell you all about them. As always, we are unpaid and unsponsored, and spoilers. Spoilers, all the spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, you can go ahead and scroll. I won't be offended. Spoilers. Okay, here we go. The last chapter of Downton Abbey. Now, what you need to know first is, number one, I loved this series so fucking much. I did a whole, senior photos based on them. And for every movie, I got dressed up. So fit check. A blam. By the way, I know I'm fat. I'm working on it. Shut the hell up. And this was everything I needed it to be, okay? Everything ended up all was right in the world with no real cliffhangers. Thank God. Because, most movies and series these days, they just leave you with all these fucking questions to be answered 20 to 30 years later. If it gets a reboot, or if they, bother making another fucking sequel. We're looking at you, Allegiant. But Focus and Carnival knew where their money was buried, and they gave me what I wanted. But anyways, what's this about? Well, here's the thing. I could tell you the whole story, in succession. But it doesn't really matter, because the whole movie is centered around basically closing up different stories, so I'll just tell you that way. Okay, we're gonna start downstairs. The movie opens on Carson's very last day as head butler. He passed it down to that one guy who Daisy married. I don't remember his name because I forgot to rewatch the first two movies. But now he's the head butler. It's Mrs. Patmore's last week before retiring and going to live with Mr. Mason, her husband. And she's passing it down to Daisy, who she is so very proud of. And Daisy has come a very long way. I love me some Daisy, honestly. Anna and Bates have a new baby on the way. And I think that sums up about what's going on downstairs for now. Now let's move to upstairs. Okay, first off, we gotta talk about Edith here. Okay, because Edith right now is the fucking crown and glory. She has stepped into her role with her giant forehead husband as a lady. And she is fucking nailing it. She is wielding this power, scaring the shit out of weirdos. I'm a little confused as to what's going on in her particular wardrobe because it doesn't scream 1930 anymore. It's moving more towards into later fashions, almost 1950. But you know what? Good for her. She looks stunning the entire time. She is a motherfucking ally to Mary after all these fucking years. Thank you, Edith. But Mary here, holy hell. Well, here's the thing. Do y'all remember that race car driver she married at the end of the series? And then he didn't show up for the fucking two movies? Or at least the second movie he didn't show up? Did she marry him in the first movie? I can't remember. He was a fucking race car driver and he went into car business with Tom Branson. Well, anyways, he was always racing and then he had a girlfriend and Mary found out, so she filed for divorce. But this is 1930 where that is fucking crazy. And most people are shutting her out. She was at a party with everybody and then the host made her leave because the prince and princess were coming and apparently they're not allowed to be in the same room as a divorced woman. And so she had to leave and Lord and Lady Grantham left too because they're like, well, if you don't like her, then fuck off. And Cora's like, I'm not going anywhere. You're not fucking invited anymore, bitch. And poor Mary. At this point, she's been widowed. She's divorced. She's a mother of two. She's like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm too old for this shit. Just give me fucking Downton Abbey to run and I'm done. Also, she's trying to put plumbing in the cottages, which is awesome. Now, moving on to sister number 3, who's been dead since season 3. Miss Sybil, who was my favorite in this whole show. We're going to use Tom Branson as her replacement. Because dead. Tom Branson comes back. He's done sold the business with the race car driver. And he's made good money off of it. He brings little baby Sybil. Well, she's not a baby anymore. She's probably 13. And the actress they got to play her looks just like Sybil. If you were to tell me that's her daughter in real life, I would fully fucking believe it. The whole time I was just like, oh. Which, by the way, the grandchildren, they're all older now. Marigold's there, and Peter, and George, and whatever Mary's little girl name is. Charlotte, I think? That doesn't sound right. I can't for the life of me remember. But anyway. Now the Dowager is dead. R.I.P. Dame Maggie Smith. If then the cousin, Matthew Crawley's mama, well, she's on this board for the county carnival thing. Well, she's on the board with this crusty old man who's kind of a dick. She's like, fuck you, we're going to diversify, and I'm going to bring some of the working class onto this board so we can make sure that it runs nicely because this is for them. So she invites Daisy and Mr. Carson, who, like, Carson retires, but he doesn't know how to be retired, so he keeps going to Downton and doing, like, all his butlery stuff. And by the end of the movie, they're like, fuck it, let him do what he does. It keeps him occupied. But they're serving on this board, and they're trying to give out some kind of trophy. And the cousin was like, well, let's let Mary give it out because she is fixing to take over Downton. And Crusty Guy was like, fuck you, she's divorced. That's going to set a bad precedence. And Cousin's like, fuck you. Also, we're renaming this trophy after the Dowager. By the way, the award is given to Mr. Mason there at the end for 60 years of farming. Which, by the way, a little carnival in the middle of Yorkshire looks amazing. I want to go there. But now we got to get to the heart of everything, which is Cora and Lord Grantham. Both their mamas died in like a very short time span, so they're having to deal with the estates of both of them, which the Dowagers is pretty much settled, other than they haven't packed away the Dowager house yet. So Lord Grantham is dealing with that. He's also dealing with, it's time for him to retire and give Mary the reins, but he doesn't want to. Like, he knows she'll do a good job, but he's having a hard time, letting go of the reins. But Cora's side is a whole fucking mess. Because, Cora was from America. And so her family's money is all in America. And this is 1930. Do y'all remember what happened on Black Friday of 1929? The stock market crash. Now, she left her brother Harold in charge of everything, who's Paul Giamatti. She left Paul Giamatti in charge of her mother's estate, but didn't know that he had it tied up in a whole bunch of stocks. Well, supposedly this real slippery, good-looking guy got all her mother's money out of the stock market before it crashed or whatever, and supposedly he lent Harold a whole bunch of money, and now they have to pay him back, which is a whole lot of money that Downton doesn't have, because the extra money they did have, Mary was using to improve the cottages by installing plumbing, indoor plumbing with toilets. They're like, oh shit, we're about to be really fucking poor. How do we pay this man back? So they're like, oh, well, we have to sell the Dowager house. And Lord Grantham is pissed about that. Well, come to find out from a friend of Tom Branson, who they met at like this big horsey race. Old Slippery Boy is a whole con artist, and they don't owe him any money. He's just trying to get more money from Cora's family. And then Edith fucking runs his ass off. See, this is why we love Edith. So now the money is fine and we don't have to sell the Dowager house. It's time for Lord Grantham and Cora to retire into the Dowager house. Edith and her forehead husband have their own castle house thing. Tom Branson is going home with Sibby, and that's going to leave Mary and her new staff. Except we still have one tiny problem. Trying to get people to love Mary again because, oh my goodness, she is a divorced woman. So here's the deal. Cora was like, well, let's have some neighbors over for a dinner because they still love Mary, but everyone declined. So Edith was like, well, hey, let's bring in that Clark Gable actor guy, and Thomas, his lover / dresser, because everybody knows that Thomas is his lover besides Lord Grantham. Lord Grantham is still completely oblivious to this. And also this playwright guy. So Clark Gable, his lover, and playwright guy were like, fucking bet, we love a party at Downton. And then the neighbors find out and bring people over, and everybody has a wonderful time. And then the cousin brings Mary up to present the trophy at the fair thing, the carnival, whatever. And come to find out the county still loves her, even though she's divorced. So Mary takes over Downton. Everybody retires. Everybody has a good life. The end. Or you thought it was the end. You thought. Because there were flashbacks. There were flashbacks of dead people. The first kiss with Matthew. The dance. Flashbacks to Grandmama, the Dowager. And the very last one was Sybil turning her head and smiling. And then I teared up. Now the end. Did I like it? I loved it. This was the perfect end to all of this. I have no questions. None. Boots down, Houston, I am deceased. Someone get me to England. Okay, bye.